Also try to be cognizant of the SpaceX delay, as may see some things on a slight delay as we pull up this visual as well. Now T-minus 3 minutes, 12 seconds and counting.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Fueling wrapping up as we enter the final 2.5 minutes of the count. Now less than 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. In less than a minute, we should hear a call out that second stage LOX loading is complete. Hearing some of the noises of the fueling and venting from the rocket, as we are now just over 2 minutes to liftoff. If you haven't already, if you can go ahead and hit the like button, help more people find our coverage.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Couple minutes here before we get liftoff. Now just 1 minute, 39 seconds away. And the venting you're seeing now is the process of SpaceX purging the strong back propellant lines. Now T-minus 1 minute and counting. Just before liftoff, keep an eye towards the bottom of the Falcon 9 rocket for a little flash of green. That is the T-tab ignition.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
The T-tab ignition fluid. Hear the call, Falcon 9 in startup. And T-minus 40 seconds and counting. Should the launch director give the go for launch call momentarily.
Go for launch.
And there we have it, SpaceX targeting liftoff, less than 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
15 seconds. And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket, sending up 22 Starlink satellites on the Starlink 6-23 mission. The Falcon 9 has cleared the pad. Now 25 seconds into flight. "35 seconds into flight." We're hearing the roar of those 9 Merlin engines here at the press site. Let's listen in. Now T plus 50 seconds, the Merlin should be throttling down as the vehicle approaches max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. We're getting some great tracking views, this coming from Pete Carson's. And our own Adam Bernstein tracking here from the press site. Here's the call out for max Q. Now about a minute and a half into flight. These views coming from Chuck Briggs down in Vieira. Some great tracking views from our team across the Space Coast here. This coming from Pete Carson's and Chuck Briggs. Now 1 minute, 54 seconds into flight. We're coming up on the point of main engine cutoff, or MECO, where the 9 Merlin engines will shut down. It'll be followed in quick order by stage separation and ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine. Jettison of the payload fairings will come up shortly after that. There's some stunning colors from Pete Carson's tracking camera. Now just about 2.5 minutes into flight. You see their main engine cutoff. Stage separation. And there we go. Here's the ignition of the Merlin vacuum engines. And you're seeing the slight delay there on the SpaceX feed. You see just a view of the Space Coast there on the right-hand side before the MVAC came to life. A little bit of a jellyfish effect coming from that Merlin vacuum engine. Oh, and you can see the payload fairings glinting, the little bit of light from the sun perhaps with the rocket being high enough. There's the delay. The Starlink satellite's now exposed to the vacuum of space for the first time. Now 3.5 minutes into flight. Things continue to go nominally for this mission. Continuing to get some great tracking views. This is from our own Adam Bernstein on a pretty much crystal clear night here in Central Florida. Really able to get some nice effects from the Merlin vacuum engine propelling that Falcon 9 upper stage. These views coming from Pete. Now T plus 4 minutes, 12 seconds and counting. Coming up in less than 2 minutes, the stage 1 entry burn will begin. That entry burn will last 24 seconds. Still getting some great tracking views now, nearly 5 minutes into flight. These are the onboard camera views from SpaceX, the glow of the Merlin vacuum engine on the right-hand side of your screen, darkness from the cameras of the first stage booster, and there's an internal view of that booster making its way back. You can see the altitude on the first stage booster continuing to drop as we come up on the entry burn beginning. Its speedometer is still continuing to climb, but you'll see that drop pretty rapidly as the entry burn begins. As the Falcon 9's first stage booster starts to hit the brakes, making its way back down toward the drone ship. Just read the instructions. Now T plus 6 minutes, 8 seconds in real time. This is when the entry burn is beginning. Of course, we're looking at the SpaceX feed. Oh, there we go. You see the entry burn in real time. This is coming from Pete Carson's. Passing through some clouds right now, which is why the light is going in and out. The entry burn will last just a few more seconds here. That is the official end of the entry burn. You can still see it on the delayed SpaceX feed there on the left-hand side of your screen. The hypersonic grid fins visible through the flame of the Merlin engines. Some good callouts from SpaceX as we come up on the 7th minute of flight. Next up at T plus 8 minutes 7 seconds, the landing burn will begin. Fortunately, this is likely low enough on the horizon and far enough out that our ground tracking cameras won't be able to spot the landing burn, more than likely. So we'll turn to SpaceX for live feeds from the drone ship as well as from the first stage booster as it makes its descent. Now 7.5 minutes into flight.
Stage 1 transonic.
Yeah, the call at stage 1 transonic. The first stage booster now traveling slower than the speed of sound as we are coming up on the start of the landing burn. Less than 10 seconds in real time. Again, the time you want to watch for the visual, though, is the SpaceX count-up clock there.
Stage 2 nominal trajectory.
It's at the bottom of your screen. Landing burn will begin in just a few seconds.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Yep, well, there you go. Views from the drone ship should be coming up on the right-hand side of your screen.
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
Landing lid deploy.
And touchdown.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
This booster now having launched and landed for its 16th time.
MVAC shutdown.
Hear the call for MVAC shutdown as SpaceX